left has launched non-stop, unhinged attacks against conservative justices on the court because they still hope, against all hope, that maybe they can get the nation's highest court to go along with their plans if they bully them long enough. And with that, cue late-night host John Oliver possibly violating federal law and making this bribe offer to Justice Clarence Thomas. Watch.
We know you've got a lot on your plate right now, from stripping away women's rights to hearing January 6th cases you definitely shouldn't be hearing, to potentially helping roll back decades of federal regulations. And you deserve a break, you know, away from the meanness of Washington, so you can be surrounded by the regular folks whose lives you've made demonstrably worse for decades now. And the good news is, I think we can help you there, because since your favourite mode of travel might be in need of an upgrade, we are excited to offer you this brand new top-of-the-line Prevost Marathon motor coach. Look at this beauty, Clarence. So that's the offer. $1 million a year, Clarence, and a brand new condo on wheels. And all you have to do in return is sign the contract and get the f*** off the Supreme Court. Talk it over with your totally best friend in the whole world, because the clock starts now. 30 days, Clarence. Let's do this.
Joining us now to discuss is radio host and OAN contributor Andrea Kay. Andrea, thanks for being here tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Great. So when can we expect Oliver to be charged here? Probably whenever, I guess, all those rioters outside the homes of the justices, when the Dobbs decision were arrested, right? Which is to say, never. Yeah,
if they weren't going to arrest anybody for threatening to kill the justices outside the home, which were felonies, they're certainly not going to arrest this guy. I think he needs to be arrested. I think somebody should have done a citizen's arrest for the bad comedy, okay? Or was that some kind of audition for a game show host? Either way, it was a hashtag fail. You know, and think about the time that they put into that skit, right? From getting the motorhome there to writing it, getting the cash, and it just wasn't even funny. And none of this, quite frankly, is funny. The way that people are celebrating, the same people, by the way, that are just, you know, beating themselves up over and hand-wringing and hysterical over the death of Navalny, are celebrating the persecution of a former president who's done absolutely nothing wrong.
No, you're exactly right. And like you were saying, this wasn't just something he flippantly said while, you know, airing and going live and just kind of talking off the cuff. A lot of money, a lot of planning. They had to really stage everything that went into this. And you would have to imagine how many executives and producers had to be involved in this. And at any point, I don't know, did it ever cross their minds going, wait a second, guys, the whole point of this little skit we're about to do is to try and say that we want to bring integrity back to the Supreme Court. And yet here they are creating a whole segment about bribing a Supreme Court justice to either rule a certain way or to just recuse himself, leave the court, whatever. But where's the integrity in that? I wonder if how none of them caught on to that the entire time. But is it just because as he was talking, and excuse me, because I always get the same guys all confused, Stewart, Oliver, I don't know. To me, they're all the same person, basically. But the way he talks, dripping with condescension and snobbery and just this know-it-all-ism, I feel like people are sick of it. Maybe 20 years ago, that was the cool, hip thing, and it destroyed our culture. But now we have the HR, you know, ladies who are chiding us about pronouns and the rest. You have the COVID tyrants and all the rest. Hopefully, do you think people maybe are a little bit done at someone like him talking down to us and saying, I know integrity, so I'm going to bribe a Supreme Court justice?
Well, I think in general, absolutely. I mean, I honestly hadn't really heard of this guy. So certainly they put as much effort into baking in the audience people that are going to cheer, that are going to actually think this is funny. I doubt there's any conservatives sitting in the audience. But I also don't think they're always dripping with arrogance, because they're banking on the fact that they never have to live under the weight of the tyranny in which they impose, like the weaponized DOJ. They're banking on the fact that they're always going to get away with crimes, which, as useful idiots, is not going to necessarily be the case. But I wonder if it also occurred to them that, you know, it's not really Justice Thomas. He's acting like, oh, Thomas, you need a break. Well, it's not Justice Thomas who's been complaining about the work level going on at the Supreme Court. It was Ketanji Brown Jackson, right? I wonder if it occurred to them that they were dragging her with the skit.